In this video, I'm going to show you how to use 0% interest business credit cards in 2025 for business to maximize the amount of profit you can make. I'm Paulo and I make content about business and finance. I always have a 0% business card in my business. It could be Chase, it could be AMEX or other big banks. You'll learn why it makes sense to use other people's money, why taking the risk is worth it to scale your business, and you can use the card benefits for travel or cashback, but not always. First things first, why would you want to use a 0% credit card, right? It's kind of obvious if you think about it. If you're not paying interest, then you are not incurring interest. You don't need to pay that back right away, whatever you use. So what I used about 3 years ago when I first started using these credit cards, it really changed my business. I was using a credit card for making my purchases because they're more secure than a bank card, right? And I made a video about that as well. But I was using 0% credit card for 12 months. That was my first 0% card for business, so I can buy more inventory and scale my business. I was doing $20,000 a month in sales, and what was limiting me was having more capital so I can grow my business. I already have products to buy. I already had distributors. I had websites for arbitrage. I just needed to get more cash. So that's what I did. I was able to get a 0% card, and knowing that I don't need to pay interest for the next 12 months, it was like a $30,000 card, and I could fill that card up with buying products. So I pretty much maxed it out like $28,000. I know I'm paying back about 1 to 2% back every month as my minimum payment. But then I used that card and I basically left it at $28,000 for the next year. What did that do for my business? I was just buying products and reselling them, right? And I was able to go from 20-something thousand a month to $80,000 a month in only 2 months, right? Till I buy everything, prep it, and ship it to Amazon. It took about that much time. So that's basically 2xing my business using one card at 0%. So it's very fast what you can do. The other big benefit of having a 0% credit card, especially a business one, is that you can use the points that you get back from these cards by using them, or the cashback, right? So sometimes it's 1%, sometimes it's up to 2.5% if you have the Chase Premier. The points are just ways for to get higher quality people. So usually the higher the rewards, it's because you have a better credit score that matches that, but not always. There are some really good cards out there with high limits, but they don't offer any type of reward. It's 0% cashback. It's very cut and dry, but that's not the biggest motivator to get these cards, and it shouldn't be, because these cards are geared towards using that money to scale your business, right? For me, I was able to almost 2.5 times increase the sales of my business within 3 months. But if you use it and you make your choice on getting cash back alone or mileage, then it doesn't seem like your focus is to maximize your business. It seems like your focus just to get these benefits, which honestly, compared to how much profit you can make from the amount of money that you can borrow, it doesn't make sense to just pick it on the rewards. The rewards is kind of like secondary in nature. And one of the things I tell business owners is, if you're looking for the cash, you should have other issues taken care of. Like getting more capital is the biggest priority right now, because you already have everything else in place. You don't need to create more ads. You already have opportunities to buy more product, or you know what you need to invest in your business. The example I used was for my inventory-based business, but some people, like some of the clients who we help, they invest in their business. They need compressors for their business. They need to buy a ton of shelving for the business. They need to buy a bunch of computer equipment for their business so that they can improve how fast their own employees use the systems, right? Sometimes you're just waiting for a computer to delete that. So when I use my 0% card, I was able to use it for inventory and reselling, right? But there's other clients that we help, and they can buy anything for their business. They could buy mechanical items, they could buy electronics, they could buy whatever pretty much a credit card can afford them, right? And some people actually want cash. One of the benefits of having a credit card, and there are services that charge a fee for this, but you're able to pay the fee and take that money out as cash, 0%, right? So it's kind of like a 0% credit card becomes kind of like a loan, and you just pay that fee up front to get the cash, right? So it's probably a better way to get a loan than going to get a loan and paying the whatever rate, right? I think the best rate now is about 8%. 8 to 12%. And you can use it for other things too. What if you wanted to buy a course? What if you needed to pay off some other debt? What if you wanted to transfer debt from a high interest card to this card? You do pay the transfer fee, but some cards out there, you don't have to pay any fees. So it depends on the time of year, and it depends on the competition. Some lenders will offer a card like that. Like Bank of America comes in mind for a card like that. But the goal always is, what do you get out of this, right? What is the ROI from using other people's money? Do you get a better ROI? And let me give you an example. For Amazon, it takes about 2 to 3 months for me to buy something, sell it, and get the money back and be able to reinvest it, right? That's called the cash cycle. So the faster I can do that, the more I can recycle the cash. So especially if somebody helped you get like very high limits for these cards like we do, then whatever you spent to get those high limits, you were able to recover that money pretty quick. We usually within one cash cycle for an inventory business, because we're at 15% margins, give or take on average, we're able to recover that money right away. So the second, third, fourth, maybe fifth or sixth in the year that you have that 0% card, you're able to just reuse that money and make a lot more money, build a lot more cash in your bank because you have the 0% card. Now, what happens if you don't have that card? You're going to be in the same position you've been for the past 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. When are you going to change? Are you going to rely on your profits alone? What are your profit margins? Can you reinvest that? And how slow has that been for you? If you're looking to maybe 2 or 3x your business, depending on where you are in revenue, a 0% high limit credit card for business can change your life. It changed my life a few years ago, and I still use 0% cards. I just kind of go through a cycle with them, and depending on the year, I just kind of move the money around. It's such a good way to scale a business, as long as you understand the risks, which is the next part of this. You need to understand how much money are you going to be putting on leveraging, how much cash you have, and this is out of the scope of this call. This is outside the scope of this video, but you do need to understand your risks. If you're going to put a lot of money into something you haven't done and don't understand, then I will proceed with caution. But if you already know what your issue is, your problem is, you know this is going to resolve it, you're confident in it, you've done it before, you're just doing it at a larger scale, then it makes sense to use a 0% business card, even personal cards, if you don't mind the credit score hit, to keep scaling your business. And the last thing I want to say about this, about using 0% card, a lot of times, or almost every time, the interest is deferred. What that means is, in the background, the interest is accumulating, but they're not charging you it. So they'll keep it there. And if you do not pay that card off at the end of the 12 months or 18 months or even 21 months in some cards, then they're going to charge you all the interest for whatever balance you carry at that time. So you always want to know when the 0% time frame ends, and you want to pay down that card at that point. Because if not, they're going to hit you with interest as if it was an interest card at that time. So if it's a 22% interest card, 29% with the rates of these days, it's going to be a big bill. And you don't want to be on the other side of that. You don't want to overdraft the card and go over your max limits. That's just going to hurt you, and it does not look good for you. They can eventually reduce your limits because you're not paying, and everything else that happens on the personal side can happen with the business side. And at that point, if you're not paying at least the minimum on the cards, they will report you on the personal side as well. Chase does that. So, and then once you have a late payment on your credit profile, it really hurts you for the next 2 years at least. If you like this video, subscribe, leave a comment below, and I'll get back to you guys personally.